Back in 2017, we covered what we thought were the weirdest fusion monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever since, people have been telling us some of the weird fusion monsters from the early days we forgot, and since we enjoy riffing on the older card designs, out of love of course, we wanted to do a sequel on the ones that we missed. Expectedly, we will omit any of the fusions that we discussed on the previous list, even if I'm still confused where Frenzied Panda comes into play when creating Barox.
Why would they do that to a panda?
What, frenzy it or fuse it with a gargoyle?
Both.
As with our other fusion video, we'll be considering fusion monsters whose materials flat out don't make sense, and by we, I mean I have a few co-hosts joining me. First off, Judgment Meter.
Where is the microphone in the laptop again?
Judgment Meter, we're recording.
Oh, hi everyone. Hello. Nice to see you all.
Where's your normal Dark Magician Girl avatar?
Dark Magician Girl's on vacation. She likes the beach.
Also joining us is NegetiveX.
2 co-hosts in 1 video. I don't know if I like the sounds of that.
What if I told you there was going to be a 3rd co-host?
Then I'm okay with it. I like an odd number of co-hosts.
And finally, A.T. from Software Agents TV, who provided the Yu-Gi-Oh! Video game footage, is joining us once again.
He's big, he's blue, he's back.
Now, let's take a second dive into the other top 10 weirdest Yu-Gi-Oh! Fusion monsters. Number 10, Labyrinth Tank fusing Gigatech Wolf and Cannon Soldier. This was one of the most mentioned monsters that I omitted on my previous list, but personally, I never found any of the pure machine fusions to be too weird, since I just imagined the 2 fusion material machines to be disassembled for parts and then reassembled into a bigger machine. That being said, I understand why people found it weird. First off, it was just a normal monster in the anime, so the fusion was Konami working backwards and retconning the tank's existence to make more fusion monsters. And second, a robot cannon man and a robot wolf make a tank that has drills and only drills.
But where's the wolf? Where'd the wolf go?
He's still there, he's just a part of the tank now.
Yeah, but if this was like Transformers or Power Rangers, you'd still see bits and pieces of it.
Well, we do things differently here. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! Town.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm sad about it. The wolf's name was Cletus.
I'm sure if you look hard enough, you might be able to find the wolf somewhere in the tank's design.
Okay, there's like 0% wolf in the Labyrinth tank. Like, what part is the wolf? The drill bit? Everyone's favorite part of the wolf. The drill bit and tank treads.
Still, the design had that over-the-top factor where I never really questioned it. It's a drill with drills on it. That's like a gun that shoots guns. In the context of bumping into this thing in the massive labyrinth wall maze with nowhere to run like in the anime, it's actually pretty terrifying, all things considered.
What a odd biology this thing has. It's like, this species is only ever found roaming the walls of the labyrinth, but a wolf has to walk into a cannon first. What? Luckily it has a drill so it can go straight through the wall. Really, the Labyrinth tank is the greatest cheater at labyrinths ever, because it can just drill on through. It's just going straight to the end. It's me when I was 5 years old doing mazes. Just done. Straight lined. I climbed the walls.
Number 9, Cherubin the Fire Knight fusing Monster Egg and Hinotama Soul. First off, this guy's Japanese name translates to Killer the Flame Knight. That's a pretty intense name for a monster with only 1100 attack points.
Oh wow, he's got a giant flail, and it looks like everything around him is on fire. I don't think he controls the fire himself, so it's kind of a misnomer, but I'll go with it. Wait a second, he's a combination of egg and fire? What? That makes no sense.
My mind makes this fusion somewhat logical by imagining that the fire incubates and warms the egg, like a mother bird sitting on an egg, and then it hatches into a warrior ready to fight.
You know, what if you take an egg and you apply fire? What do you get? A fried egg. You don't get a man in a suit of armor.
We don't know the anatomy of this species' eggs. They could be much tougher than our real-life chicken eggs. Interpreting the scenario my way, since Monster Egg is classified as a warrior, perhaps it's a fictional warrior species that hatches from eggs.
But where's he getting his armor from? Where's he getting his armor?
That's just his skin. His species' skin looks like a suit of armor.
Okay then, I accept it. We'll move on. I'm never gonna look at making eggs the same again. Just gonna turn on that stove and be like, if I drop this egg right now, I could get a new best friend.
Or you can leave him in his protective shell and he can be safe forever.
You know what? The egg is cute because eggs are cute, and the fire is cute because Howl's Moving Castle.
I don't know how cute that Hinotama Soul trouble is, he once burned down an entire forest of the lovable Trent.
Nobody likes Trent. Stop lying.
Number 8, Skelgon, fusing Blackland Fire Dragon and the Snake Hair. They almost got this one right. A skeleton dragon should have the materials of a dragon and a zombie, like how Zombie Warrior was a living warrior and a dead skeleton combining to become Spinal from Killer Instinct. For Skelgon, we have a living dragon as one part, but the zombie could have been a little more bony.
I see the Blackland Fire Dragon. Good solid card. And Snake Hair, so, you know, the Medusa knockoff.
Well, actually, its Japanese name wasn't afraid to reference who she was, calling her Medusa's ghost, but for some reason, they didn't put that in the English translation, as mentioned in the Great Mammoth of Gold Find segment on the first Fusion video.
If only there was some sort of mythology that would translate directly from Japanese into English. Snake Hair Lady.
The snake hair sorceress is a recurring suspect, huh?
And she seems to have a fixation for fusing with dragons. Still not sure what she does to them during this fusion.
Maybe somehow she fossilized the dragon? It's mildly preposterous, but I don't think it's nearly as nutty as, let's say, the Great Mammoth of Goldfind. I mean, what was that about?
Well, it's pretty hard to beat Medusa and a dragon zombie becoming mammoth bones.
You know, looking at it, it makes no sense. No part of the Medusa carries over, and no part of the dragon carries over, except maybe the skeleton system, but when you combine them, it becomes a mammoth? A very golden mammoth, though. It's very pretty.
Well, at least Skelgon uses the proper skeletal system in this snake hair fusion, so I guess that's how he became superior to the mammoth.
Oh, I like the golden mammoth. Bring it back.
No, now pay your respects to Skelgon with compliments.
He looks fuzzy. I like that about him.
Number 7, Bracchio-raidus, fusing two-headed King Rex and crawling dragon number 2. Usually, when a multi-headed monster is involved with a fusion, it's the result. Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, 5-headed dragon, even the concept of twin-headed thunder dragon, so I guess only the dragons get to make sense in multi-headed fusions. Two-headed King Rex is merely a pawn for the final one-headed result. And crawling dragon number 2 is technically a dinosaur, so I guess his dino DNA neutralizes his dragon DNA when these monsters put their 3 heads together for a confusing standard-looking dinosaur.
2 + 1 = 1. It's basic mathematicals, Mr. Top 10 List.
Wanna know what I think happens here? You get rid of the heads, and you combine all the necks into one much longer neck. That's why it makes sense.
I think it's weird mostly for the fact that its materials are fantasy-style dinosaurs, and the result is a realistic dinosaur.
Hasn't the Brachiosaurus been discredited?
Then they're all fantasy dinosaurs, and my last point is negated.
What I want to know is, how on earth do 2 carnivores become an herbivore? Must have become a vegan or something.
How do you know Crawling Dragon was a carnivore? Wait, his Japanese name translates to corpse-devouring dragon, and I don't think those corpses were made of salad. Anyway, if Brachio-raidus was just a standard monster, I don't think he would be getting any of our criticism. Poor guy was frozen in Cold Wave when he just wanted to live his life being a happy dinosaur.
He is adorable. Look at his face. He's basically mean-mugging everyone. He knows he's cool. He knows he's taller than everyone, so he's cool.
Number 6, Cybersaurus fusing two-headed King Rex and Blast Juggler. So the elephant in the room here is two-headed King Rex can't stop making mischief on this list, fusing with whatever walks past him.
It's because he got so many heads. He can donate a head, he can take a head.
At least the result of this machine and dinosaur fusing is a cyborg dinosaur, but the dinosaur part of Cybersaurus still looks like he was designed to have no relation to Rex. I'm sure Urabi would have been happy to help out with this fusion. He's a green one-headed dinosaur that I wouldn't question them using. Cybersaurus is lucky he looks cool, or else I'd interrogate him about his appearance more.
Oh, look, he's been to the dentist and now he has a mouth guard.
I guess this guy was not graced with the best teeth.
Hey man, you got teeth. You gotta keep them straight sometimes. You think it's any easier for dinosaurs to keep them straight? Sometimes you need a little hand. Unfortunately, he sold his hand for a machine gun, so you know, he has to use the braces to keep his teeth straight.
For his machine gun, I feel like the machine monster fused could have been one of the various gun-themed machine monsters rather than the robot whose main design concept was juggling.
It's a light bulb on a slinky.
I guess we could imagine that instead of bullets coming out of the gun, they're actually just a bunch of the balls that Blast Juggler was juggling. The holes are certainly big enough for the balls to come out of.
If only I could do something with these balls to make them more dangerous. Maybe launch them at a high speed? Should I throw them up in the air and catch them? No. Throw them at people, maybe. Throw them at people with gunpowder. Yes, we're on to something.
Number 5, Rose Spectre of Dun fusing Feral Imp and Snake Yashi. First off, that name, Rose Spectre of Dun. What can we analyze about this? She's a spirit that inhabits a flower. Okay, but where does the Dun come from? Well, apparently nowhere, since its Japanese name just translates to evil spirit that lives in the rose. Which rose? The rose. The point is, Dun isn't a thing in the Yu-Gi-Oh card universe.
The translators just were screwing with people at that point. Evil spirit trapped in the rose? Yeah, it's called the Dun monster. The Rose Spectre of Dun. What's the Dun? You know, it's the Dun. Everyone knows the word Dun.
I'm assuming this is another Slifer or Great Mammoth of Goldfind situation, where Dun was just the last name of someone who was on the localization team, only they did not get an anime appearance like the other two, so technically we don't even know if we're pronouncing it correctly.
Rose Spectre of Dune!
It was just a joke, I'm pretty sure it's Dun.
Dune!
Fine, call it what you want to, no one ever plays this card.
Spectre! Dune!
Anyway, the two parts of this should be simple. You have a humanoid rose demon woman on a bunch of thorns. Easy. Choose one of the various demon women and one of the various prickly plant monsters and call it a day. But instead, they chose a fuzzy green monster that's far from humanoid and a living palm tree snake guy.
Do you think the imp had to get inside the mouth? Do you think that's how it happens? Like, it just swallows the imp whole, and then the imp becomes a beautiful lady like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. And I guess the palm tree turns into a less terrible plant. And who puts a mouth down there? It should be at the top. It's basically got the world's tallest head. Is it trying to trick people into getting coconuts and then it eats them? Because it probably needs a new strategy.
I have no better explanation, so let's go with that. I kinda miss Feral Imp after this fusion, though. It didn't look at me with the killer intent that Rose Spectre does.
She's like that weird doll thing from the theme song.
Good old Faceless Mage. Now that you mention it, she does have the posture of a marionette.
Kakumin, don't do it. Don't do it. Kakumin, I love you the way you are.
How do you think she walks?
Creepily.
I feel like she would have at least had some cool movements if she appeared in the anime. I'd imagine her being like Poison Ivy. I wonder how she'd attack.
She crawls on the thorns, but she doesn't get pricked by the thorns because she's like made of the thorns. And she like crawls all creepily like a spider, you know, unless you like spiders, but then creepy could be a good thing, you know, you do you. And then snatches you like a spider with its webs and then brings you back and eats you alive.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Number 4, man-eating black shark fusing Amazon of the Seas, Sea Common, and Gruesome Goo.
Oh my god, it's a shark with fists. This is the greatest thing since a basketball with legs.
All I can really say that works about this fusion is all the materials are water monsters.
Okay, one of those is pretty and one of those isn't. I'm not going to judge you about which one you think is pretty and which one you think is ugly, but, well, I am the judgment meter.
Judgment meter, you're covering the third monster in the fusion.
Oh, there's 3? 1, 2. Oh! One of these is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong. Well, actually, 2 of these things. Well, you know what? I'm not going to judge. They're all beautiful in their own way, except one is more beautiful than the other 2.
Oh my god, Gruesome Goo is real upsetting.
Now the real mystery is, why did this shark need 3 monsters? Where does everything factor into his appearance? Let's break them down.
Stupid guy. So I'm thinking Sea Common's teeth, the mermaid's fin, and the Goo Man's texture? Goobity goop.
He's the glue that holds the other 2 together. You get the arms just wedged on there because of the goo.
But which monster did the arms come from?
One came from each. It's amazing they match so well, honestly.
Huh, I wonder how it turns jet black in this process.
He's more like a steel gray, actually.
Like, I see it, and I'm not sure if it's just gonna beat me to death or if it's gonna bite me. This is what Rocky 6 should have been about.
The other major weird thing about this fusion is not only is the shark a palette swap of the normal monster Great White, but 2 of its materials are also palette swaps of other monsters, with Amazon of the Seas palette swap, Enchanting Mermaid, being a part of the fusion monster Rare Fish, which is a palette swap of another fusion monster Marine Beast. That's a chaotic amount of degrees of separation. I'm going to blame Amazon of the Seas for all of this, since she's part of yet another 3-part fusion monster, Aqua Dragon.
Ooh, look, it's Puff!
It's like a lanky Godzilla with a mouth full of water. Do you think Aqua Dragon just ate some mints? Because his breath looks fresh.
All you have to do is fuse Amazon of the Sea with Fairy Dragon.
Ooh, pretty colors!
And Zone Eater.
Why? Why'd you have to ruin it? Come on.
Also, I like how he's classified as a sea serpent, while his 3 materials are significantly more serpent-like than him, yet none of them are sea serpent type.
Yeah, you can really tell with his arms and his legs. Everyone knows snakes have arms and legs.
Well, that's what happens when you fuse with Amazon of the Seas. Things just go crazy.
That mermaid's up to no good.
Number 3, Roaring Ocean Snake fusing Hyosube and Mystic Lamp.
Nothing about a mystic lamp screams ocean to me. And nothing about Hyosube makes me think ocean too. What I think when I see him is Nightmare, because man, that guy's all sorts of messed up.
Well, Hyosube seems to be based on an ocean-dwelling Kappa, which is essentially confirmed since he's a palette swap counterpart of Psychic Kappa, so at the very least, Hyosube is ocean-related. The lamp's ocean theme, though, I don't know, maybe it was washed up on shore somewhere and had a snake-like genie in it?
Well, obviously what happened, Mr. Top 10 List, is that the amphibian found the magic lamp, rubbed it, made a wish, and that wish happened to be to become a giant sea monster.
I wonder what he did with his other 2 wishes.
Well, clearly his second wish was for a giant ocean to surround him, as seen in the artwork, and his third wish, I don't know, Subway coupons?
You know, solid 3 wishes. You could do a lot worse than that. I want to be a giant snake, I want to have an ocean to swim in, and I'm a little peckish, make it a hoagie. Could I get some extra mayo? You're out of wishes. Oh no!
And here's a fun fact for you old school Yu-Gi-Oh folks. Did you know that Roaring Ocean Snake is one of the cards in Kaiba's briefcase? True fact.
Number 2, Soul Hunter, fusing Lord of the Lamp and Invader from another dimension.
Oh my god, is that a clown killing a dragon?
No, they're buddies, they're working together.
Okay, no, that dragon just got startled because a clown with a scythe just came up behind him. That poor dragon. What is this, it?
Well, first we have to figure out how we got here. We have another genie-related material and a bug alien thing. I'd like to say this is another wish being granted, but who would wish for this? Why would this guy from another dimension want this?
Well, my theory is that the invader sent the genie to another dimension, and in that dimension, he gained a sense of humor and became a clown.
So if the genie's the clown, is the dragon just the invader but transformed now? Is this like my theory from the palette swap video where the invader looks so much like the basic insect because he's actually like that alien from Men in Black 2 and just transforms into things he sees?
Why are there so many dragons on this list?
It's probably Kaiba's fault. So since this is a fiend type, does that mean the dragon that may have been the invader is just a sidekick that wants nothing to do with this fusion?
Poor guy's just living his life, doesn't know old man clown fetish is coming for him. He actually, when he gets startled, he turns into a dragon because he's so taken aback. His body just gives up and rebuilds itself to something that can maybe survive.
I feel the genie downgraded when he became a clown. Yes, he exchanged his scepter for a scythe, but the dude was buff when he was a genie, and he had some personality with that pose.
Oh, wow. Sassy. That is some serious sass. Like, there's gonna be some serious fan art. If there isn't, I'm real disappointed. I know what we're gonna do tonight.
Honorable mentions, Flame Ghost. A zombie in a pile of lava create a zombie on fire. It makes sense at first until you notice that the zombie was a skeleton and he somehow gained muscle tissue in the process.
Want to know why, when you combine those two together, Flame Ghost is created? Because you basically take a perfectly happy skeleton, you throw goo on it, everyone panics and sets it on fire.
Why would they do that to Skull Servant, everyone's favorite zombie skeleton ghost?
A very friendly looking ghost man. Like, he's just saying, hey bud, you want to come over to my party? I got cheese.
Deep Sea Shark. It's another Bracchio-raidus style situation, where two fantasy fish make a pretty standard looking animal. However, the shark it creates still has some unique quirks.
It's like a little dolphin. It's purple, it's got a nice eye, or a rock. I guess a big ass eye for, you know, seeing. I like this card.
And his materials are not as fantastical as Bracchio-raidus is. Maybe Tonyo is.
You mean the guy with the giant tongue? Yeah, I see him. I don't like him, but I see him.
Twin-headed Thunder Dragon. It's mainly weird since it's supposed to be this big boss monster, but it's just a palette swap of a random weak monster. But we went into greater detail about it already on my weird counterpart list, so that's why it's just an honorable honorable mention. However, NegetiveX wasn't in that one, so here are his thoughts.
That's not twin heads. Those are twin mouths. That's not a... Who puts a mouth there? Where does its spinal cord go? If I'm gonna punch it right in the throat, where's it gonna go? Buddy! Ellie, don't... Oh my god. You guys are worse than this card.
And Sandwich. This was one of the most mentioned omissions on the first Weird Fusion video, but I think it's far from weird. While the two monsters don't look like ones that would ever team up, their effects are parallel and the result looks like a Sangan witch, so that's fitting all around to me. It's a little weird that Sangan is off to the side separate from the monster created, but I assumed that meant that Sangan was a species rather than an individual monster in this case. Konami has really tried to make him a cute mascot in everything after his initial card release, so all in all, I think this is a fun fusion with a puntastic name. For most of these entries, there was a basic formula. One monster is created from two monsters vaguely related to certain aspects of the final product. The degree to how unrelated they were varied, but the absurdity followed the same steps. For number 1 though, we have a fusion monster that changes it up. It uses something other than a monster, was never publicly released, and was based on a tournament player. Number 1, Yasushi the Skull Knight fusing Witch of the Black Forest and Ultimate Offering, a trap card.
This one's pretty out there, it's pretty nutty. Fusing a monster with a trap, that's really weird. This is one of those illegal cards that was never meant for official play.
Despite it seeming like you could fuse to create this monster, since Ultimate Offering is a continuous trap or could just be present in your hand, Polymerization contradicts using a trap by saying you can only use monsters when activating it. I feel like we're at an impasse. You need a trap to fuse it, but Polymerization doesn't allow traps, and in case you were thinking about using a fusion substitute monster, they outright say the card is illegal on the card itself, so if you can bypass the rulebook, they block it anyway. I'm not sure why they felt they had to make everything about this card illegal. It was a prize for a tournament, so why not let the winners flaunt that they have it? It didn't have some broken effect or anything, it's just Skull Knight with the same stats, but a different head.
Is it the guy wearing the skull art, like, just Jim from IT in his cosplay? How does this have 2600 attack?
Does this one have glasses? I have glasses! Does that mean I can be a Skull Knight?
Do you have some skull armor lying around anywhere?
I have a headset.
Well, he looks like a normal human because he is. Konami made special cards based on the finalists of the first national conference in Japan from 2001, which were alternate versions of existing cards, and then those were given as prize cards of the winners of the second tournament in 2002. Maybe Skull Knight was this guy's favorite card, and while we jested how jarring this looks, it's a very cool honor, and I'd be happy if Konami ever wanted to put our heads on a card. And this goes back to, why did they make it illegal? So few people own this card, so why not treat it as an alternate artwork for Skull Knight? Even so, why did they make the material so random? In researching the decks from the tournament that this player participated in, I could only find the winning deck, which had Witch in it, but not Ultimate Offering. Perhaps they were the two ace or favorite cards of the guy portrayed. It's just such a bizarre combination that you can't help but wonder why they were chosen. Normally, we try to find a logical conclusion on how we got the fusion, but I don't think this was meant to be analyzed by our feeble human minds. The easy explanation is the witch did the Ultimate Offering as some sort of dark ritual to summon this Skull Knight. She was disappointed that her last fusion resulted in a rock star that didn't really go anywhere in his career. And of course, we're talking about the uncensored Ultimate Offering, the one that was too hot for international releases. It had blood.
You know what? That can be interpreted as several different things, like different, red rings on his fingers with a red curtain.
And his animal buddy is watching too.
Indeed.
Or it's just blood.
Yeah, or he got tangled in yarn.
So for using a trap and having an interesting history, Yasushi the Skull Knight is our other top weirdest fusion monster. Would that technically make him the official number 11? Yeah, he's number 1 on this list. Now, what did you think? Who are your favorite fusions that we discussed, whether they were on this list or the first one? Are there any monsters that are not as weird as we made them out to be? Let us know in the comments. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and we will see you in the next video.